Hey guys, Sandy here. Welcome back to my channel and welcome back to Making with the Manufacturers. Now, last week we played with Vicki Boutin and I've still got a good stack of Vicki paper, so we're going to do that one more time. So let's see what I can do. Alright guys, so I grabbed the All-Star stencil from the Scrapping Reflection shop. I also grabbed some Nuvo and this beautiful burst paper from Vicki Boutin. I'm going to squeeze out the Nuvo onto my Glitter Glaze palette knife. This is the same palette knife that I use for all the glittery things because I don't want glitter all over every single palette knife that I own. Now I did take the tip out of the Nuvo, that way it will glob out a little bit more like toothpaste and less like a eye cream, which is the way I kind of see Nuvo as. When it comes out in a glob like this, it's more like toothpaste. When it comes out of the little nozzle, it's more like an eye cream. So I am just being careful to basically go one direction with my Nuvo. What that is going to do is allow me to have less bleed through with the Nuvo underneath of the stencil. And if I just kept working it and working it and working it and pushing it all throughout the stencil in all the different directions, it would eventually lead to bleed through under the stencil. And nobody wants bleed through, unless that's the look you're going for, or you know, you're just not stressing about it. But in this case, I definitely did not want the bleed through. So I'm gonna pull up my stencil here, and then voila, look at those beautiful, beautiful stars. So now I've gone ahead and pulled out some papers. Now these two papers, I have cut pieces out of them, and I'm going to use these as layering pieces. I have these two photos. These are taken at Toy Story, what is Slinky Dog Dash? Couldn't remember the name of the ride. So I have these two photos, and I'm thinking that I'm going to be using these guys. One is the Slinky Dog kind of like drawing on the wall, and then one is a selfie of me, Christopher, and Lana in the same line. Now, I was going to do this because I thought that this would be fun for a Toy Story layout with the stripes of colors and also the silvery stars. However, I do realize that my photos and photo mat that I start making are going to be way too large. I'm going to cover up so much of those gorgeous glittery stars that I figure I need to find another photograph to go on it. So I have the two photos here and then that little piece, and I'm like, look at this. It's covering up everything and I'm losing it. So I'm going to put that off to the side. I will do another page with these two photos and the exact configuration with the paper. I ended up getting the Pixar ball. Now this is a huge, huge Pixar ball in Toy Story Land. And I did have to take my good time and, you know, hung out and waited until the ball was free of people so I could get a nice clear picture of it. Because let me tell you, everybody wanted a picture with the bouncy Pixar ball, even though it really doesn't bounce. So I'm going to use the same paper. I'm going to use that purple Vicki Boutin paper here, and then I'm going to add on this little bit as kind of a matte, semi-matte. I'm going to use it as a layering piece. So then I also have this paper, which has these gorgeous leaves on one side and then this yellow pattern on the other. This one is from Storyteller. If you're still interested in any of the Storyteller papers, I think I have most of them still in my shop as single sheets, so you can check that out if you're interested. So now I'm just going to build up my little photo mat here. So the stars are still very wet, so that's why I keep putting them off to the side. I don't want to actually work on top of my mixed media right now with the Nuvo because I want my stars to stay very starry shaped. I don't want them to like get blurred. I don't want any of the Nuvo to get off to the side. I just don't want that to happen. I am thinking that I'm going to create a title over here. So I'm trying out different pieces. I'm trying out different things of ephemera, different, labels, tags, sizes. I'm just trying to figure out what I want to build over here. Now, I ultimately end up choosing this Made of Awesome, which has kind of like a rainbow feel with the title, and then it's got the black label, and I'm really happy with that. I wanted to figure out a way to tuck in that Adventure and Weights label as well, and just showing the adventure, but that ultimately doesn't make it on to the page. This little red frame does, however, and I end up kind of doing it a little bit of a cottywampus kind of angle over here, and I like the way that that turns out. I am just going to be putting that on with my ATG, so that makes me happy. I'm still trying to work out the adventure word. I hope I'm not lying to you guys. I don't think adventure makes it onto the layout. But I do have the Made of Awesome making it onto the layout, and it really is. That huge Pixar ball really is made of awesome. Like, it's cool. Disney definitely does its theming correctly. Like, you walk into Toy Story Land and everything is sized so that you feel like you are a toy walking around, and it's cool, guys. It is. Okay, hopefully there's not too much of a weird gap that just happened right there. It's just my husband decided to call me and it kicked me off of my voiceover, so that was fun. Anyway, now that I've got this built up, I'm going to try to figure out what to do between this gap. So I have the photo and then the little gap underneath of Made of Awesome. I'm like, what is going to go there? So ultimately I decide on a little pop of yellow, and that's just going to give me a little bit of brightness down here. I felt like it was getting a little bit too dark, and I just wanted that little, that little pop of color. So, and it's definitely a pop and not like a pop of color. I don't know, guys. It's been a long day at work and I don't even know what I'm saying anymore. Here we are. So I do futz around with this for a good few minutes, just trying to figure out what I'm doing here. And then I'm going to flip through this sticker book some more to see if there's anything else that'll work. Now, ultimately, I do pick 2 things out that'll work. I was trying to just come up with something that would be awesome. And then I found these little, I guess these are basically calendar filler stickers. This is a planner sticker book. And if you guys know me, I can't handle a planner. I have like a little monthly thing where I plan out and schedule YouTube videos, but I don't even have that going this month because I don't think I have anything going on this month. I know I've missed out on some hops and stuff like that just because I don't have a planner. So I need to figure that part of my life out. But I did choose these 2 little stickers, and I said all that because I like planner stickers, but I like to use them in my scrapbooking. So I am just going to add a couple little stickers here, and then I'm gonna kind of put these 2 together, and then I'm going to tape them so that they are underneath of here, and then my journaling is going to go on those 2 little squares right there. Now this paper back here with the houses, that is there because I feel like I need to trim down my star paper a little bit, and then this is going to be the background, like the paper that contains the star explosion is what this is going to do. I am going to grab a couple of word phrases out of the sticker book as well. And they're fun because they have a little bit of foiling on them. But they're just fun little stickers that I think are appropriate. So those go down there. And then I'm looking at this and I'm like, yeah, this is cute. but I'm starting to get a little bit large. Remember, I took off the 2 4x6 photos and went down to 1 4x4 photo because my photos and mat area was just getting a little bit too large. So I decide that I need to stop that now. I'm going to go ahead and pop that up because it's kind of sticking all over the place. I do take a little bit of just white cardstock and kind of cover up these joins and give it a little bit more rigidity because the planner stickers are super thin. And I just want it to have that extra strength behind it because it needs to hold up. It needs to stick down to the glitter glaze. So I grab a black Muji pen and I'm going to go ahead and get my journaling down here. And I do talk about, you know, having the patience to wait for the Pixar ball to be free and clear so that I can get this really awesome photo. Which, you know, if you have patience and time, you can definitely get really good Disney photos where it looks like nobody's around. But you do have to have the patience for it. So if you're like rushing off because you have a dinner reservation somewhere, probably not the moment to try to figure out if you can get that photo. So I've got the photo mat all figured out. I decide that it needs a little bit more shining, shimmering, splendid than just what is on the than the stars. Like I need to bring that sparkle into this part as well. So I go ahead and drop a couple of those bad boys down there. And then I'm probably going to futz around with this some more and just look at it and try to figure out what the heck I'm doing. Now, I did grab a pop foam. I really think we ought to be calling these things pop foams. Like, I like that. So I'm going to put them down. I want it to have a little bit of lift and dimension on the page. I end up not liking the one down here on the bottom right corner of the photo mat. And now I'm just going to figure out where exactly this is going to go and what it's going to look like. Of course, this is still wet, so I do have to put it off to the side and get it to dry. I am going to trim down the starry bits. I am careful not to trim down any of the actual stars, but just the kind of extra paper that is around it. And then I'm going to go ahead and mat it on some black cardstock. Because while I really want the houses to be the outside containment of all of this explosion of stars, what's bothering me is that the color tones are so similar that there's nothing separating it. Like I need a little bit of separation. So I decide to just go ahead with that black cardstock, especially since I have a couple of pops of black down here in the photo mat. So I'm just going to trim that down and then I'm going to place it over top of the 12 by 12 house cardstock that I've got going on here. Now, I know that these are houses back here, and to me, it kind of screams Toy Story, even though it's just a tiny little bit that you see. So if this little detail doesn't scream Toy Story to you, that's okay. Like, I get it. Like, it's not going to for everyone, but for me, it works. So I'm going to go ahead and get that adhered down there, and then that is going to do it for this layout, you guys. Thank you so much for joining me for another Making with the Manufacturers. I haven't decided if I'm going to do another Vicki layout next week for this series or we're going to move on. We'll figure that out though. We have time. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you again real soon for another video.